Good afternoon and welcome to the fifth webinar already related to the COVID-19 situation organized by the IMBRSea program. The aim of this webinar, similar to the previous webinars, is to inform students and potentially teachers and thesis supervisors about the current situation in our master program and also to respond questions. Like previous sessions, we would like to start with a short presentation where we would like to give some important updates that will also be shared by email, but sometimes it's easier just to get a small introduction here. So let me switch my screen so you have a good view of what we want to say. Good. So today on the agenda we have some information regarding an email that has been sent by Ghent on a number of Ghent related measures that have been taken. We know that there's still some doubts on the professional practice, which we would like to clarify. Something on Matix, something on thesis readers as well, something on the Symposium, and then finally some news on the key dates that may have changed. Also, we would like to inform you about some general messages about the last board meeting we had earlier this week with our program. So first of all, every student has, as you know, a Ghent email address because you're all enrolled at Ghent University as well. We're aware that not everyone is checking this email address on a regular basis, but we just want to inform you that this email address is not unimportant because you will receive from time to time important messages from Ghent on it, and we advise you to make sure you forward maybe this email address to a more used email address so at least you don't lose certain important information. So what happened earlier this week, all students have received a general email regarding the Ghent policy on mobilities that is implied for students, but also staff members have to follow the same regulations. Now, this email might have created some confusion because it's a typical email where the situation is taken on board for students that are mostly or at in Belgium, for example, and are moving somewhere, but also vice versa. And then IMBRSea, the situation is a bit more tricky because the majority of students is not in Belgium, and so there the decisions are a bit more difficult. So what is the policy of Ghent University? Is that the fact that on a monthly basis a decision will be taken about the coming month. So early May, for example, a decision will be taken what the advices are for moving in Belgium or moving on a broader sense, for example, for the whole month of June. Yeah, first week of June, a decision will be taken for mobilities in relation to July, and so on and so on. So this method will be used, as long as the situation is going to be kind of an important situation. So as soon as we're back into a normal modus, of course, this advice or this monthly advice will be cancelled. Now, for IMBRSea, what does that mean? As a student in IMBRSea, you might be impacted for professional practice, but also, for example, the summer schools might be impacted by this because as teachers, for example, as well, we might get the advice that we are not allowed at a certain moment to move to a certain other place. So we just want to update you on this because I think you have to understand also that we as program coordinators are not the ones that make final decisions here, and we're also bound by certain elements. We also don't want to create too much panic because situation in Belgium is moving, for example, towards quite positively, but it's not unimportant, for example, that you know also the decision tree behind certain things that are decided. So for people that are related to the professional practice, I think there the point is, if you stay where you are, there's no problem. You don't have to kind of be worried. If you move, and then we mean between countries. So not if you move within one country, for example, then there's no need to be worried. But if you move to another country, for example, your professional practices, then you will need a positive advice. Because else, this is a movement related to studies, yeah, then else you will simply not be insured for this thing. Now, we get then questions, yeah, I want to go home, yeah, and I'm, for the moment, I'm in a certain country, was one of the IMBRSea partner countries. So currently the advice for traveling in all IMBRSea partner countries, and then I'm talking about the countries, the main university partner countries like France, Portugal, Spain, Belgium, Italy, Ireland and Norway. Yeah, everywhere there is kind of a negative advice that you should not move if it's not an essential move. So students that want to move home, yeah, there I think it's you have to question yourself whether this is really a required move, because in most cases you will get a negative advice. Also, it will be harder and harder to get tickets from travel agents. But also something you have to keep in mind is that going home will not be considered as a study travel. So although you're you're enrolled in the program, yeah, for this move, because it's not moving to a certain other location, it will not be could be seen as a study move, for example, and also means that in this case, for example, you will not be insured via Ghent. I don't think most of you are in this situation, but it's just that we want to clearly indicate to you that how the situation is currently. So to summarize on this, the point is that on a regular regular basis, we will keep you updated. And let's say if you have doubts on certain moves you wish to make, so some travels, for example, there the advice is still okay. Contact the coordination office, so we can potentially give you some advices or some directions on this matter. We just want to say that also for us it's quite a complicated issue, and also if we get in touch then with the Ghent University offices, for them as well, I must say that we are kind of a particular case, yeah, and that not all requests are that easy to solve. Okay, second point is we received some emails regarding professional practices. There seem to be still some doubts on a certain elements. So we would like to clarify two things, two typical questions we get. So case one, yeah, being you have a certain professional practice with a certain supervisor, yeah, and you continue to work with the same supervisor, yeah. What do you have to do? So at that thing, you do not have to submit anything new, except that you have to upload the supervisor agreement. So the agreement, the template that we talked about, yeah. And what you can do, this is a template, you can ask your supervisor in that template to clarify the changed plan for your professional practice. So if there's slight changes, just ask your supervisor to mention them there, and so then everything should be okay. Now, scenario 2 is that if you change the topic to another supervisor, yeah, that is already a partner in IMBRSea, so there's a few students that are doing this, to change to another topic where there is remote guidance, yeah, then you will have to upload all normal documents. So all normal documents being a risk assessment, being again a contract, and you have to send the topic by email to info@imbrsea.eu, so we can check whether it's a valid topic first of all, and also make sure you can then select it via Matix. Now, again, the deadline of 15th of April, which is next week, yeah, remains valid there, and you will only be able to start your professional practice after you received a positive advice on all the documents from the coordination office. Now, we want to stress that we had a working group. We have done quite some work on the remote professional practices, the teamworks, yeah, which you can select via Matix right now as well. Yeah, and with, let's say, this kind of professional practice is strongly encouraged, because there we are sure that guidance and the work that is done, yeah, fits well, and there is a whole framework which has been approved at a program level there. But we just wanted to clarify, because we have some cases where we get some questions on this. Yeah. A very short agenda point. So Matix, because we get some questions, and on the website we're updating. So as mentioned during previous the talks and webinars as well, we have moved the platform Matix to a new server, yeah, just to make sure that it's functioning much faster than on the old server, because the old server was a bit overloaded. And as we're going to use Matix in the coming months quite intensively, for both for thesis and for professional practice, we have moved it to a faster server. So you can reach Matix now on matix.imbrsea.eu. So if you go to the old URL, you will get a message that it has moved, but keep that in mind. Also mention this, for example, to thesis supervisor or whoever has to use Matix. The mails that go out already always mention the new URL, but we just want to remind you on this. Okay, next point is the annual symposium. As you know, yeah, it has been moved to towards the end of August, and now we have, after discussions with University of the Algarve, some confirmation on the dates. So we will start the symposium on Tuesday 25th of August, yeah, at 9 a.m. in the morning. So it means all students have to, all the students that wish to attend it, because it will not be an obligatory event for first year students at least. So second year students also are strongly encouraged to be there. But even there, yeah, we can of course, looking at the current situation, not force you to be present. But so the starting date will be the 25th of August, Tuesday. So you have to be there from the early morning. So we have foreseen also housing, yeah, for the night from the Monday on the Tuesday. So it means that you can arrive during the Monday, so that is the preferred arrival date, but activities will start, the official activities of the symposium will start on Tuesday. The end is foreseen on the 28th of August, so the Friday, where we will have an official event, kind of the awarding of the diplomas in the morning, yeah, followed by a reception, and then normally around lunchtime this is closed, everything is closed. So it means also you have to be out of your rooms by that Friday, because the Monday after the academic year is starting, so the Friday you have to move out. Yeah. So the location is Faro, and we already have foreseen a letter also in the documents for download section, yeah, where this is all confirmed. So if you need this, for example, for potentially for visa documents that you have to apply for, yeah, you can use that letter as well. The University of the Algarve is also willing to make additional invitation letters for this event. Yeah, but this will be on a request. It's not for everybody, because we need there, for example, passport information, etc., etc. So in that sense, more information will be provided on how this will be organized in a later stage, because right now I think it's still quite early, but at least you have already one letter available on the documents for download section. Yeah. So another important element is that we're updating the key dates on the website, and the easiest way to stay informed is that you simply use the Google Calendar that is available on the page on the students' intranet. So the easiest way is that you just add that Google Calendar to your other calendars, for example, and then you're always up to date on the key date. So the new date for the symposium, for example, is already added in there, but also we added also a moment, for example, for testing thesis presentation that will go on via through the virtual defense. So that's quite important to make sure that you have the right dates right there. So then maybe not unimportant also, is that we had on Tuesday an IMBRSea board meeting where we discussed a number of things related to the current situation, but I think the most important elements that we wish to give some feedback on is that a working group on R will be established for the program, and that's based on a Ghent issue that was brought up during a local educational board meeting on Monday. Is the fact that different teachers that are using R in the context of their course, for example marine genomics, but also statistics of course, and especially then also at the start of the second semester, different teachers have notified that there is quite sometimes issues with the understanding and the ability to use the package and the program of R. And in order to solve this and to make sure that for the whole program there's kind of a better understanding on what is needed to be known, for example, or how to work and which modules are really required in R to be able to work with. Yeah, we have actually decided that we will launch a working group in the whole program that will develop some materials, but also develop some additional guidelines that can then be implied throughout the different courses that are offered in the program. And we hope in that sense that the current problems that are existing with working with R, for example, and to make sure that if you move universities, you still you do not get in trouble on this, for example. Yeah, the idea is that we will work on this. By the next board meeting, which is scheduled early May, the idea is already that we have there some ideas on where this will go. We're very happy to also that some second year students, 3 in total, actually volunteered as well to be a part of this working group, in that sense that they can witness from their course experiences at different universities of the second year as well, okay, what specific issues are there, because we noticed and we are aware that making use of R is throughout the program is available both in genomics courses, in ecology courses during the summer school, for example. So it's a transversal skill that we see in the program, and in that sense I think it's important that you know that we do some additional work on this. Then another important thing that was discussed, and that is that in the coming week and weeks, there will be for resit exams, because the examination methods will be slightly different from the original examination methods due to the COVID-19 situation. All teachers are asked to clearly outline how the resit exams will be organized. And this will be grouped in one document, and will be approved also by the full board of IMBRSea. Why do we do this? Simply because we want to be sure that there is clarity on how resit exams will be organized. So in case there might be problems with some of the exams, we have a reference document at a program level we can refer to regarding the organization of the resit exams. As soon as this document is approved, it will also be made available to the whole IMBRSea community, so you are aware on how certain exams will be organized for each of the courses you still have to do a resit. Keep in mind there that we still wish to organize all the resit exams before the first week of July, because that's the first moment that we have to be able to award diplomas, and that we have to close the academic year. So for those that have resits, take already into account that they will be organized in one or way or another, probably the last week of June, or maybe the first week of July, but rather the last weeks of June. So, but as soon as this resit exam document is approved, you will be informed on the formalities here. Okay. I think that's the major points that we wanted to discuss today. So now it's like in previous sessions, time for questions. And for questions, let me switch my cameras again. Voila. And I will switch also to the... I see that there are already some questions. First question is a question from Arnaud. What would happen if we're not allowed to move for the third semester? Actually, Arnaud, I don't know. Yeah, and I also hope and I think that this will simply not be the case. But we just wanted to inform you about the regulations as they are put up by Ghent University. That's the only... We want to have as clear as possible guidelines and information to all the students. That's why we have included this point as well. Yep. Marion, about the remote professional practice, some supervisor contacts are missing on Matix. How can we contact them if we have questions about the topic? I think, Marion, you're talking here about the remote professional practice. Yeah, that's something we have to look into. Sorbonne and Galway, indeed. And we will make sure that the supervisors there are also listed. So I was simply not aware that there might be potentially an issue there. So mostly the supervisors are known, so we can add them. Yeah, so will be followed up. Line, I sent several emails to the coordination of office about changing topics to the one in Bergen, as I am currently in Bergen, but I have not gotten any answer. Can you please have a look at my request? Yes, Line, we will see what this is related to, so we can indeed follow up. Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda for the follow-up discussion of this meeting. As you created a specific remote professional practice guidelines, can you also adapt the professional practice guidelines for the one keeping their professional work but doing it from home? For example, I will not be able to present the institution. I think here, Ambre, we actually said from the start that if you stick to the normal professional practice, everything remains the same. So if you do a normal professional practice, even remotely, you will still have to be able to present your institution. So this remains the case, and then this will have to happen through potentially video conferences. You have to with people, staff members from the institution, also with your supervisor. So this remains exactly the same. Can the study guide created by the working group for R be made available to us too, and not just for future students, John? We still have to start the working group, so we are now establishing the first meeting. But I think the aim is, when listening to the first discussions with a number of people, is that we would mainly develop online materials. And there I think it's obvious that this will be also for current students. And what we want to potentially even do here, and I will be a strong advocate personally also on this, is that this material is even available for alumni of the program, so that we make sure that via your IMBRSea accounts, for example, you also have access to the materials that are being developed in that context. For the R working group, can the outgoing second year student volunteer for it? Right now we have already three students. Maybe the idea, but Stanley, I understand, because you have a strong interest in R, we can, I don't see a problem to take you up also in this mailing list and then see from where it goes. We also have to make sure that the working group remains workable. So I think during a first meeting we have to discuss how to organize things as efficiently as possible and how to come up with materials that are valid for as wide as possible user community. More questions? Madalena, according to the Ghent University email you mentioned earlier, we will know in July if the summer school can happen. Is that correct? Yeah. According to the Ghent email, actually, if you're in a summer school of August, indeed, a decision will be taken early July. If you are in the summer school that starts in July, they already have to give a notification in June. So that's the Ghent regulations, yeah. But here it's important to say that we are, as a program, because we are the largest international program of Ghent University, yeah. So we are in almost on a daily basis these days in contact with the international offices, both at faculty level and at university level, and we are constantly stressing also that to the Ghent offices that the situation for our program is much more complex, because we have different locations where students reside, and also students are enrolled at different locations. Yeah. Marion, as we are not sure that the summer school will still be planned, do you advise us to book tickets? Right now, we, as a program, we still assume that the summer school will be possible. Yeah. But yeah, because this email came also from Ghent, we also wanted to inform you that we are in the situation right now that we don't have a clue how things will evolve, but personally and as a program we're still busy with organizing the summer school. So we didn't stop organization because we still assume that they will go on. We actually also, during the board meeting, we also identified at least already the coordinators for each of the summer schools, so that's already set. So we are still be. So do we advise you to book tickets? For the moment, we do not advise you not to book tickets. Maybe that's a better way of formulating, and we regret that we cannot be clearer, but that's things we do not have in the hand right now, and I hope you understand this as well. More questions? Isabel. Yeah. The things, so the question from Isabel is, the things you explained today about the annual symposium, do these apply to only the second year students or for everyone? I remember you saying that for first year students it will be done remotely. I think for the annual symposium you have to, there's two things, yeah. So for first year students, everything related to the professional practice, the exhibition, that will be organized remotely already the first week of July. Yeah. However, second year students will be able to attend the annual symposium, and we, in that context, maybe not unimportant, we also asked the University of Bergen to make sure you have the possibility to attend the symposium. So at least that week there's no other activities, obligatory activities organized. We didn't have a final response on this. Yeah. So so in that sense, I'm first answering the question of Isabel. So second year students will have the possibility to attend as well the annual symposium. We shortened it for 1 day simply because these exhibitions are not taking place anymore. Yeah. So also important to mention is that for the annual symposium, we will still, if there's presentations from the second year students, those will be streamed online as well. So if you're not physically present, you can also still witness the different sessions virtually. So it's not an obligatory event. But if you want to come to the annual symposium, you will be more than welcome. And so all the practical arrangements are valid both for first year and second year students. Madalena. If summer school happens, but some students can't travel because of their home country bands closed, that's indeed for those students, and that was already confirmed during the last the webinar last week. Is for students, for example, that cannot attend the summer school this year. The plan is indeed that they will be able to attend the summer school next year. After they have finished their thesis. That's the way we see it's going to be. Yeah. Ambre, as I'm doing my professional practice from home, do I need to ask my supervisor to fill the computer risk assessment? He filled the field and lab 1 right now. In this case, we know that the professional practices will happen from home. So we assume, and there we take the assumption that from all the ones that are doing remote, that this will be through computer work anyway, yeah, and that risk assessment that actually does mostly does not need to be filled. So here I think we can confirm that if you're simply doing a regular professional practice on a remote basis, the only thing you have to do is, as mentioned also during the presentation, is to upload the agreement from the supervisor that he is able to guide you according to the normal guiding scheme that we have for professional practices. More questions? Yep. Okay, as I see there's no more questions coming in right now, I think we can close this webinar. Yeah. Just want to inform you that we were around 40 people at the same time watching, so there's still quite some interest. Also, again, you can watch these webinars at a later moment. And before closing, I want to remind you that if you change locations, if you change addresses, phone numbers, whatever, please make sure you update the whereabouts, so we know from every student where he or she is. And also, we would like to remind you for the Thesis students, yeah, that via the Matix platform on a regular basis you can give updates on the current situation of your thesis, and we strongly advise you to do this, because these additional inputs will also be added to your thesis manuscript when you submit it, so reviewers have a clear view on that. So this is not new things, but I just want to remind you this. Okay. So thank you for watching. Next week, Thursday, same time, we will have our next webinar on weekly webinar, where we hopefully can update you in a positive way on a number of outcomes and a number of news items that are going on. Still, if you have things that you want to share with the whole student community, feel free to contact us as well, and then we can include in this webinar also some information from your side. So have a nice day, and stay safe, and yeah, see you next week, hopefully during the next webinar. Thank you very much.